Hello and welcome everyone to Enchanted Empath, a podcast for your soul. I'm Charlene Murphy, soul coach and spiritual teacher, on a mission to remind you of your inner brilliance and your ability to heal your body, heal yourself, manifest anything, and create a life you absolutely love. So thanks for joining me here today. I'm glad to have you. Come on in and make yourselves at home. Feel free to use the chat and ask your questions or just to chime in and say hello. So today I want to talk about one of my favorite subjects. Of course, they all are my favorites, but this one comes up with a lot of my private sessions, my coaching sessions with my clients. So today I want to give you 5 fast and easy ways to connect with spirit. Easy, fast ways. So this reminds me of, so I get a lot of clients who say, I'm trying, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do this, and I'm trying really hard. And it just reminds me of the Yoda quote that it's do or do not. There is no try. You don't need to try. And I'll tell you why. So when we're having those comparisons and we're looking at other people and how spiritually connected we think they are, or that perception, it really has nothing to do with you. So spiritual connection or connection to spirit is very, very personal. So it's going to be different for every person. So that's my disclaimer. So I'm going to share my 5 favorite quick and easy ways. And they're pretty universal, so I think that most of them will apply to you, and some of them might be new for you to maybe try out and see if they fit. And if they don't fit, throw them out. One size does not fit all, folks. So we're going to stop the shoulding. We're going to stop the comparing. We're going to stop all that. And we're going to really tap into ourselves and to see how we connect with spirit best. But I have to tell you this. It's like, the worry is over, folks, because you are connected with spirit all the time. You heard me right, all the time. So imagine yourself like a fish swimming in water, right? But the fish does not realize that it is wet because it is just immersed in its environment, right? So a fish isn't going to say, gee, I need to get out and dry off, or gee, I'm wet. It really doesn't know. So that's like us. We are literally swimming in what I call spirit soup 100% of the time. The only thing that is different when we don't feel connected is that our attention isn't on it. So in my practice, what I want to do is help you put your attention on it. It's just an easy shift of perception. It's just about acknowledging the fact that you are swimming in spirit soup. And let me back it up and tell you what I mean by that. So it's very apparent that there is some vital force making the planets rotate and the solar system work, and the grass grow and the babies grow and the animals procreating and finding things to eat, and nature in their cycles and the moon cycles, all of that. And even with our own little physical bodies, that we don't have to think about breathing. We don't have to think about our hearts beating. We don't have to think about or make or manifest or wish that our skin cells grow. They just do, right? So what is that? That is the spirit. That is the divine intelligence. That is, well, it goes by many, many names. So you pick your favorite. Some people call it source, God, divine intelligence. What's my favorite? I call it spirit. And spirit is just that energy that is moving through everything. And we are part and parcel of it. There's no escape from it, folks. There's no escape, right? We're in it all the time. So first of all, if you have that awareness, then you can alleviate yourself of any kind of fear or uncertainty of connection, because it's always happening. So then we just get a little bit wiser about leveraging it and understanding it, and maybe even thinking about the components of all the other things that are considered the spiritual realm or spirit world, right? So I see it as this. I'll just break it down really easy for you. And this is just my perception, right? Everybody's got their own. I think it's very apparent of the one big source energy, the thing that makes worlds and that created us. And then I also do believe that there are spirit helpers, are forces out there that are on the job helping us all the time. And so that's when coincidences happen. That's when things just line up. That's when we get those unexpected bumps and, a boost up. And I call them spirit guides. Some people call them angels. I just know that almost every culture around the planet has some sort of spiritual guidance system built in their culture, right? So I call mine them. I call them spirit guides. I'm very casual with my entourage. I call them you guys. Hey guys. I have one in particular that I have a name for, but the rest of it feels very spontaneous. So when things are needing, or you're wanting something, or you're desiring something, or there's an emergency, or it feels like there are just different spontaneous guides that come in. So it feels like there's a couple or a few that are like your entourage, and then there's others who, and see how I personified them, who, because it's our language, come in at different various times, right? So as humans, we do have a tendency to personify everything, and to give things names, and to call them him or her. I don't quite see it that way, but I don't have another language to use, right? So I see it, or I feel it, or I experience it as energy. Some of the energy feels like there might be a gender, like my guardian angel, which I feel is very masculine. But for the other stuff, and for God or source, I feel that is just this beautiful love energy that is just all about growth. It's all about healing, growth, expansion, big stuff. But I don't personify that necessarily as a him or her. And then the other guides, I just call them because I just don't have time to really tune in. Who's that? I don't know. That could drive you nuts if you spend a lot of time there. So I have just come to a very reasonable conclusion that we live in a responsive universe, and there's a lot of responders out there, and they're all good, so I just call them. Hey, you guys, thanks, you guys are so awesome, and then I'm on to the next thing, right? And so this is a part of my daily life, and everybody's going to be different as to how their relationship is with their spirit guides and their connection to spirit. All I know is that a lot of people crave that connection with spirit. And so this is my way of helping. So the first quick and easy way for you to access spirit seriously is by breathing. There are I looked this up yesterday, 42 verses in the Bible that talk about the breath of life and spirit being the same thing. And so just by breathing, slowing down, and taking a breath, I just breathed in that divine intelligence that I'm swimming in. And I'm letting it permeate in my body. And it's clearing, and it's cleansing, and it feels, to me, it's like an instant connection to spirit. And then if I need something, or if I'm confused about something, I can put my hand on my heart and do that. So I stop, drop, and breathe. Drop into spirit, drop into myself, drop into my high self. touch my heart, hand on heart, and I share this one a lot because it's a quick and easy go-to. Wherever we touch, our attention goes there. And I believe that our heart is the seat of our soul. It's our spirit. And so that is what is connecting us to spirit. So hand on heart. And then it's like a reminder of, yeah, I'm part of this too. And there's my entourage. And if I knew the answer, it would be. And so that opens up my intuition. It opens up my ability to receive that guidance and those answers that are here for us. They're here for all of us. We just need to ask good questions and just tune in, So these are my ways of tuning in. One is breath. Second is hand on heart. Oh, and the third, I think everybody can relate to this one, is being in nature. And where is God not? Where is spirit not? It is everywhere. But because we're so busy in our daily activities, we just forget. And so, my job, and that's my tagline, is remember your inner brilliance. I am just here to remind you of what you are already made of. It's just that we forget. Life has a tendency to crush it out of us, the magic of the universe. And so I'm here to remind you, it's still there and you're still connected and you always will be connected. And here's how to do it. So being in nature, I think, is so relatable to everybody. People love, they take their day off and they go for a hike. They take their dogs out to the parks. They're in the grass. They're on the water. We are drawn to nature like a moth to a flame. It's where our souls get fed. It's clean. It's natural. It just feeds us, right? Why? Because it's a connection to spirit. It's that divine intelligence that is untouched, that is pure, that is just in its natural form, and it speaks to us and it calms us. So we're earth beings, and so the earth and the energy of the earth is most definitely, going to calm us. And then it's just a really great way to connect with spirit. It's so easy to see spirit in nature, seeing the perfection of everything working and the cycles and the seeds and the growth and just the amazing connections with all of it and how symbiotic nature is and how perfect it is. And that when we're in it, it reminds us that, yeah, we are part of this. Yeah, me too. I'm just this human form, but yeah, I am part of the system. And that's very reassuring. So when we're not in nature, though, and we're at work or we're at our home, I am a big believer in feng shui. And feng shui is like the tangible movement of things that affects your environmental energy, for sure. But with regards to connecting with spirit, I like to have sensory reminders around me. We are sentient human beings, right? So, and I'm visual, and I like to hear, So music is a big thing for me. And then I have my visuals. I've got my Buddha there in the back. I've got my love signs. I don't know if you can see under the Buddha, I have this big glass jar that I just set up my house yesterday. I'm finally done. Woo! Thank Goddess. And so I'm going to go to Trader Joe's today and get some flowers and fill that jar up. And I'll tell you why. I like having that connection with my spirit guides. So having an offering, having fresh flowers, like intending them for them, having a special candle, having your special statues, having your special things. Like some people even have an entire altar of items that help them connect with spirit. Now, I'm here to say, and stones and all kinds of things, everything has an energy, but the magic isn't in the thing. The magic is in you. And so when you look at those flowers, or when you smell that candle, or when you see your statue, or you hear your chimes and you hear your beautiful music that connects you, it's you shifting your attention from awareness, from your being unaware, the fish in the water, to very aware. Oh yes, there's spirit, there's my guides. Thank you, guides. I am not alone. I have help at every turn. I have helpers everywhere. I am safe. I am good. This universe is benevolent and responsive. Let's play. Let's collaborate, right? So I'm big on collaboration with my spirit guides, and most cultures are. So my next, this is the last one. This is number 5. So number 5 is ask. Have those conversations. Collaborate with your spirit guides. Talk out loud. I call them guys. Hey, thanks for that. That's cool. I was just looking for that. And there you go. And it's amazing how much they collaborate. And then when we have the awareness of it, those coincidences and those occurrences just happen more frequently, and it just becomes your normal. So every culture has a way of communicating with guides. The most, I think, popular and accepted one is prayer. Prayer is asking. Prayer is having a connection, a conversation with your God of your choice, and your angels or whoever, and making a request, right? And so that is one form. Visualization is another form. The art of manifesting is another form. Putting yourself into alignment about a certain desire, knowing that you live in a responsive universe and they're listening and it is being responded to. I really do believe there it is it's everywhere. Ask and it is given. And so when we ask good questions and we communicate regularly, not just when we, need something necessarily, but just communicate, leave a gift. We see Buddhists do this all the time. They have their Buddha statue and then people bring them food and gifts and offerings of love. It's not because we need to appease any angry gods. It's just because it's a reverence. It's a ritual. It's something that helps us connect. So there's a place for everything. I was raised Catholic, so lots of ritual going on there. And I still really enjoy a lot of those rituals because of the connection that they create in me, right? Not because of the dogma or the rules or anything like that, but just because it makes me feel good. So your relationship with your spirit guides, like I said, is a very personal thing. So you're going to try things on. You're going to see what works for you. What resonates with you, what makes you feel that connection. And we all know what that feels like because we've all had those connections. Like I remember one time when my daughter and I moved to Colorado from California, and I drove my little red bug through the mountains of Utah. And I was in tears. I had never been there before. And I felt like I was on such this big adventure. I felt so completely guided. I had to get out of the car. My daughter took a picture of me and I'm just going, yes. And the beauty of those mountains and that nature, I just knew I was cradled. I knew that I was on the right path. I knew that I was connected, and we were just being led into this great adventure. And so those moments, that feeling, it's not always going to be that big. Like sometimes it's like, wow, thanks guys. That was awesome. I was just looking for my keys. And then, you're just led to them. Those little coincidences, they stack up though. Right. And so knowing that there's this entourage on call for you, I would say leverage it, use it, have fun with it. And then, give thanks, be grateful, keep those lines of communication open with collaboration. So, I did want to also share this one story of how I stumbled upon this and kind of justifying how my casual relationship with my spiritual entourage. So when I started my practice about 12 years ago, I remember going to a Kundalini yoga class, and the instructor wore a turban, but I knew the instructor, and she typically does not wear a turban. In fact, she's really super casual. And so I was kind of put off, but it's like, why is she wearing a turban? And then I started to doubt or wonder about my response or my casual demeanor when it comes to addressing my spirit guides, and how completely casual I am. And I thought, gee, maybe I should, I don't know, dress more, dress better, put on the Pope, his out, I don't know, but not maybe call them and address them with more reverence. And I just thought, am I in trouble? Am I just being too casual with all this? Should I be more formal? Should I be more ritualistic? And I started to doubt, and I thought maybe I was being rude. So I went home and I had this conversation with my guides, and I said, look, I don't mean to offend. I'm so sorry if I'm being an asshole. So let me know what you need from me and if I need to polish it up or whatever. So about an hour later, I went to Yoga on the Bluff. This is in Long Beach, the best yoga studio on the planet overlooking the ocean. And I was in down dog, and my hand was over the mat on the grass, and I felt something metal underneath my fingers. So I picked it up and I looked at it, and it was a Doritos soda bottle top, one of those little metal caps. And I looked at it, and the tagline on the bottom said, "Que buenos son," which translates to, "They're so good." Well, I knew that was the message for me. I knew that. It was like, because I always say that. They're so good. They're so good. You guys are so good. Thank you. And I picked that up, and I laughed and I cried at the same time. And I just had this complete epiphany and this knowing that they don't give two rips what we call them or how we address them, and that they have a sense of humor and that they're funny and bilingual, right? So I was just like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to go and get a turban or dress like a shaman. I don't need to do that. But if that flips your switch, do it. Do whatever flips your switch and helps you connect best. Me, I'm casual. They're like every day. It's like every day. So that way I don't have to do anything extra special. I'm like always basically aware of my spiritual entourage and that guidance. And so I'm working in tandem with it like 24/7, right? I mean, there's going to be moments where I blip out. Of course, I'm human. But for the majority of the time, I'm connected. And it's not a big deal. It's just our natural way, if we allow it and if we play with it and we acknowledge it. So here's a list of what is not required to connect with your entourage or source or spirit, whatever you want to call it. Hours of meditation. You do not have to sit in meditation for hours and hours and hours and hours, okay? If you want to, go for it, but you don't have to. Not required. Big fancy rituals, not required. Only if you want to. Spirituality is about what you want and how you connect. Just erase all the other stuff. Pick and choose. Cherry pick what works best for you. Repetitive prayer. I was raised Catholic with a lot of repetitive prayer. I don't like it just because I'm not involved. I just memorize that. I don't even feel it. I don't even know what I'm saying. So for me, it doesn't have much meaning, but if it works for you, if it gets you connected, do it, right? Not required though. Torturing yourself, not required. Fasting, sacrifice, beating yourself. I don't know. None of that is required to connect with spirit. Spirit is easy. Spirit is graceful. Spirit is a breath away. Spirit is this close. You're in it, right? You don't have to abstain from sex to connect with spirit. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to attend religious services, only if you want to. Like I said, sometimes I'll go to a church just for kind of a nostalgic thing, but yeah, it makes me feel very connected. And I love visiting the missions. The missions are my favorite place to get this spiritual connection. And it brings me back to like my childhood. Let's see. What is required? The one thing that is required for you to connect with spirit is that you are breathing. That's it. And that's just because we're living human beings. When we die, we don't even need that, but we're still connected. That's another story. So the only thing required to connect with spirit here and now as a human being is a breathing. That's it. You are surrounded. You are enveloped. You are part and parcel. You cannot avoid it, right? So instead of being nervous or worried about connecting with spirit, just shift your attention to connecting with spirit, and then use these little rituals or do your practices, have your pictures, do whatever reminds you, of your connection, and just do that, and only do the things that really flip your switch, that make you feel good, that make you feel connected. Nothing else is required. So I think that's all I have about that today. I wanted to keep this one short and sweet. I did want to remind you or let you know about the 10 for 10 or the 10 at 10. I was going to start that last week, but I was in the middle of moving and it was like, no. So I am completely finished now. Pictures are on the walls. So I'm going to start this, but I did modify it a bit. So instead of doing it every day, this is how I'm going to do it. It's going to be 10 at 10 on Tuesdays. So Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Pacific time for 10 minutes. We will gather here and do a meditation, a guided meditation. I will guide you through a meditation of our choice and if you have a request, let me know. Email me, Charlene at charlenemurphy.com, or even in the chat, you can just text it to me. Text the thing that you would like to meditate on, something that you would like to see changed or affect, or in yourself, or in your environment, doesn't matter. So we're going to use this time, leverage it well. So that's going to be next Tuesday. I will also send an email out about that. And of course, meditation is one of the obvious ways to connect with spirit, but I think that puts a lot of people off. That's why it wasn't on my list. But yeah, and so we'll be doing that on Tuesday. I'll send an email out with the details and how to join me. If you're not on my email list, just you can join on my website, charlenemurphy.com. There's a few different places that you can add yourself. The stay in touch widget is one of them on the very top underneath the first picture. So that's it, folks. That's all I got. And just know that spirit has your back. The universe has your back. This stuff is easy. Stop complicating it. Stop making it so hard and stop trying. Just do. Just breathe. Oh, you're connected. Remember that you are part and parcel of all of this. You are not separate. It's an illusion. Separation is an illusion. Know that you are divinely wired. Good stuff. All right. Well, have fun connecting with spirit and saying hello to your entourage and including them in everything, big, little. Size doesn't matter, It's like, hey, where should I go for dinner tonight? I don't know. Why don't you guys tell me? We live in a responsive universe. You will get the answers. Trust me on that. You will always get the answers. Just let it go. Ask and then let it go. You don't need to keep asking. So anyway, that's it. So until I see you on Tuesday or next Thursday for this Soulcast, take excellent care of yourself. Include your spirit guides in your journey. Have fun with this. And I will see you next week. All right. Peace out, everybody. Enjoy your day.